5 of the fantasy football season. And here's a few tight ends I would drop this week. The first guy, Dawson Knox of the Buffalo Bills. So I know Dawson Knox last season, great year with 9 touchdowns for this Buffalo Bill team. But right here, he's a guy I can't trust, obviously. A guy I mentioned last week to drop. And once again, in week 4, he didn't do anything. 3 catches, 40 yards on 6 targets. I know it was a wet ball game. Not great factors for wide receivers. Even Stephon Diggs didn't do anything really in this ball game. But Dawson Knox this season, we haven't seen anything from him. His best game was week 2 versus Tennessee. 4 catches, 41 yards. So he's not getting the job done. We've seen some better tight ends, obviously, on the waiver wire over the last few weeks here than Dawson Knox. And right now, I hate to say it, but it's time to drop him. He's not producing. And if you're 1-3, 0-4 to start the season, you got to start clearing your roster off and starting to get contributors or guys on the waiver wire who can make an impact. So right now, week 5, I know he's got a pretty decent matchup versus the Steelers. He is Dawson Knox, but I'm not going to hold on to him with some better options on the waiver wire and guys who have been producing better than Knox this season. Next guy's Dalton Schultz of the Dallas Cowboys. So Schultz, he probably was a one-year wonder last season with this Cowboy team. And now, yes, he did come off injury and returned in week 4 Washington, but they didn't look his way, only 3 targets. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Noah Brown had most of the targets and the receiving work in this one. And Dalton Schultz last season was great. And maybe when Dak comes back in week 6 or week 7, he'll be back on the fantasy radar. But right now, he's done nothing besides week 1 versus Tampa Bay, where he had 7 catches for 62 yards. But Cooper Rush right now, he's locked in on CeeDee Lamb, Noah Brown, and Gallup got into the mix in his return with a touchdown. So right now, while tight end, like I said, there's better options this season. There's guys who are getting more targets and more looks. And Dalton Schultz right now, he just hasn't been the guy for this Dallas Cowboy offense. And he's the 3rd or 4th option easily right now. So he's definitely a tight end I would drop this week. And the 3rd and final tight end I would look to drop is Mike Gesicki of the Miami Dolphins. So the Dolphins here now have Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. And we know the tight end's one of Bridgewater's best friends, but Gesicki, the last couple weeks, he really hasn't done anything except that pop game in week 2 at Baltimore with 4 catches, 41 yards, and a touchdown. Then week 3 versus Buffalo, they didn't look his way. 1 catch on 1 target, 6 yards. And week 4 at Cincinnati, 2 catches, 23 yards. I know he's got a great matchup week 5 at the New York Jets. But right here, Mike Gesicki, they're not looking his way over there in Miami. He's not playing a lot of snaps for whatever reason. And it's all about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, rightfully so, with Chase Edmonds a little bit mixed in out of the backfield. So right now, no doubt about it, I could see him have a decent game at the New York Jets, but he's not producing. And like I said with Dawson Knox, if you're 1-3, 0-4, you can't wait on these guys to get going before it's too late here. Because if you're 0-4, realistically, you got to win the next 3 out of 4 ball games just to get back in the hunt a little in your fantasy standings. So right now, Mike Gesicki's a drop at the tight end position. So that's a few tight ends I'd look to drop here for week 5 of the fantasy football season.